Welcome to Wife Cheating Story. I hope you have an enjoyable and relaxing time listening. Let's get started.
Take it or we go to trial and I push for life. Brennan started to protest, but Hunter's voice came through the speakerphone. I'll take it. Everyone turned to stare at the phone. Hunter? Brennan said. You don't have to. 15 years. I'll take it. And I'll testify to everything. Betty Matthews, Tom Bradley, all of it. His voice was hollow. It's the least I can do. Why the change of heart? The prosecutor asked suspiciously. Because Liam's here, listening, and I need him to hear this. A deep breath. I didn't know about your mother, Liam. I swear. I found out 6 months ago when I was researching Grace. That's when I realized what she really was. But by then you were in too deep, Liam finished. By then I loved her, or thought I did. I convinced myself the others didn't matter, that we were different, that our love justified everything. Hunter laughed bitterly. But there's no justifying murdering Betty. She was the only mother I ever knew, and Grace killed her. I'm sorry, Liam, for all of it. The line went dead. Brennan gathered his papers, looking defeated. I'll draw up the plea agreement. As the room emptied, Dr. Wong approached Liam. I kept something. Probably shouldn't have, but... She handed him a small box. Betty gave this to me the day before she died. Said if anything happened to her, I should make sure you got it when you were older. I forgot about it until I saw the news about Grace. Inside the box was a ring. His grandmother's wedding ring, the one that should have gone to his wife. Betty must have hidden it, kept it from Michelle's grasping hands. She loved you very much, Dr. Wong said softly. Talked about you constantly. Said you were going to do great things. I haven't done anything great. You survived Grace Matthews. You protected your daughter. You're seeking justice for victims who can't speak for themselves. She patted his hand. Betty would be proud. After she left, Liam sat alone in the conference room, holding his grandmother's ring. 22 years of lies, unraveling in a single day. His mother murdered, his marriage a con, his brother a willing accomplice to attempted murder, but also his daughter's strength, Veronica's support, the truth finally coming to light. His phone buzzed. A text from Isla. Dad, I heard about Grandma Betty. Are you okay? He typed back, not yet, but I will be. We will be. Because that's what Betty would have wanted. Not vengeance, not bitterness, but survival. Grace had taken his mother, tried to take his father, planned to take his life. But she'd failed. And now, with the truth revealed and justice closing in, Liam could finally begin to heal. To build something new from the ashes of Grace's destruction, starting with making sure she paid for every life she'd stolen, including Betty Matthews, the woman who'd tried to give a broken foster child a home and gotten murder in return. The Harris County Courthouse had never seen a crowd like this. 3 months after Grace Matthews' arrest, her trial drew national attention. Serial killer soccer mom, the tabloids called her. The Black Widow of Texas. Every seat in the gallery was filled, reporters fighting for space, victims' families finally getting their day. Liam sat in the front row, Isla beside him, Veronica on his other side. Across the aisle, Hunter sat shackled between guards, his testimony part of his plea deal. He'd lost 30 pounds. His expensive suits hanging loose on a frame that seemed to shrink daily under the weight of his choices. Grace entered in an orange jumpsuit, belly finally showing her pregnancy 5 months now. She'd tried for sympathy, her lawyer arguing that a pregnant woman couldn't possibly be the monster the prosecution claimed, but her dead eyes gave her away. Even now, she was calculating, searching for an angle, a way out. All rise, the bailiff called. The Honorable Judge Catherine Marshall presiding. Judge Marshall was 65, silver-haired, and took no nonsense. She'd presided over capital cases for 2 decades. Grace's lawyer had fought against her, knowing her reputation. They'd lost. We're here for the matter of State of Texas versus Grace Matthews, also known as Michelle Fontaine, Jennifer Walsh, and 12 other aliases. The judge's voice carried clear authority. The defendant is charged with 14 counts of murder in the first degree, 18 counts of fraud, conspiracy, attempted murder, and special circumstances that make this a capital case. Your Honor, Amanda Cross stood, still representing Grace despite everything. My client pleads not guilty to all charges. So noted. Prosecution, your opening statement. Assistant District Attorney Michael Chen. No relation to the various other Chens in this twisted tale stood. At 50, he had the presence of a man who'd sent dozens of killers to death row. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, over the next weeks, you'll hear a story that seems impossible. A woman who spent 23 years hunting and killing wealthy men for their money. Who started as a 17-year-old foster child, murdering the woman who took her in, and ended trying to kill her own husband with the help of his brother. He clicked a remote. Photos filled the screen behind him. 14 men, ages ranging from 40 to 80. Different races, different backgrounds, but all with one thing in common. They'd died within 2 years of meeting Grace Matthews. Richard Holbrook, Martin Chen, William Morrison, Tom Bradley. With each name, Chen clicked to autopsy reports, financial documents, insurance policies. All ruled natural deaths or accidents. All left money to a woman who vanished after their funerals, until DNA evidence proved that woman was sitting right there. He pointed at Grace. She didn't flinch, meeting his gaze with cool indifference. But the worst betrayal? Betty Matthews, the foster mother who showed a troubled teenager love and got antifreeze in her coffee for thanks. Grace Matthews didn't just kill for money. She killed the woman who tried to save her. Objection, Amanda called. Inflammatory and prejudicial. Overruled. Continue, Mr. Chen. We'll prove beyond any doubt that Grace Matthews is a serial killer who used her sexuality, her charm, and her complete lack of conscience to murder 14 men and attempt to murder 2 others. We'll ask you to give their families the only justice left, a sentence of death. Chen sat. Amanda rose, looking less confident than usual. Ladies and gentlemen, my client is a pregnant woman accused of crimes that would make her a monster. The prosecution wants you to believe she single-handedly killed over a dozen men across multiple states, all while maintaining a normal life as a wife and mother. Does that seem plausible? She moved to the defense table, put a protective hand on Grace's shoulder. Grace managed to look vulnerable, scared, an Oscar-worthy performance. What you'll actually hear is a story of mental illness, of a damaged child who grew into a damaged woman, of men who died from natural causes and a prosecution desperate to close cold cases. My client is guilty of many things: infidelity, poor judgment, perhaps even fraud. But murder? That requires proof beyond reasonable doubt, and that proof simply doesn't exist. The opening statements set the tone. For the next week, the prosecution laid out their case with methodical precision. Forensic experts testified about poison found in exhumed bodies. Financial analysts traced money through Grace's various identities. FBI agents detailed the pattern: older men, recent wealth, always dying within 24 months of meeting her. Then came the witnesses. Robert Thornton, alive thanks to Liam's intervention, testified about Grace's attempts to poison him. Sarah Chen detailed Hunter's involvement. Agnes Morrison, 93 and sharp as ever, told the jury about Betty Matthews and the foster daughter she'd never trusted. But the most damaging testimony came from Hunter himself. "State your name for the record," Chen instructed. "Hunter Matthews." His voice was barely audible. "Louder, please." "Hunter Matthews." He looked at Grace then, something broken in his expression. "Former lawyer, current federal prisoner. What is your relationship to the defendant?" "She's..." Hunter swallowed. "She was my lover, my accomplice, the mother of my child." "Tell us how that relationship began." Hunter's testimony took 2 days. He detailed everything: the seduction, the gradual revelation of Grace's past, his growing involvement in her schemes. He played recordings, showed documents, painted a picture of a woman who killed as easily as others breathed. "The plan for Liam," Chen said. "Whose idea was it?" "Hers. Always hers. She said he was worth more dead than divorced." "And you agreed?" "Yes." "Why?" Hunter looked at Liam then. "Because I wanted what he had, his life, his family, his success, and she promised to give it to me." "What changed your mind?" "Finding out about Betty, my stepmother, the only mother I really knew." His voice cracked. "Grace killed her when she was 17. poisoned her with antifreeze. That's when I realized if she could kill Betty, who loved her, she could kill anyone, including me. On cross-examination, Amanda tried to paint Hunter as the mastermind, Grace as his victim. But the recordings destroyed that narrative. Grace's voice, planning murders like grocery shopping, her laughter at victims' pain, her complete lack of remorse. When Grace finally took the stand in her own defense, the courtroom was electric. She'd dressed carefully, a conservative suit that emphasized her pregnancy, hair pulled back, makeup minimal, the wronged woman, confused by these accusations. "State your name," Amanda prompted gently. "Grace Matthews." Her voice was soft, vulnerable, though I guess that's not my real name anymore. "Tell us about your childhood." Grace wove a tale of abuse, neglect, foster homes that treated her like slave labor. By the time she got to Betty Matthews, half the jury was sympathetic. "Betty was different," Grace said, tears rolling. "She was kind. She made me feel like I belonged." "Then why did you leave after her death?" "Because I was 17 and scared. My foster mother had just died and I had no one, so I ran." She looked at the jury. "I'm not proud of it, but I was a child." "Did you kill Betty Matthews?" "No." The denial was firm, convincing. "I loved her. She was the only real mother I ever had." Chen's cross-examination was brutal. "You loved her, yet you left town the day after her funeral?" "I was grieving, with $50,000 in life insurance. She wanted me to have a future built on her death." Chen pulled up financial records. "You deposited that check 3 days after the funeral. Grieving people don't usually rush to the bank. I needed money to survive. To create a new identity, you mean? Jennifer Walsh, wasn't it?" More documents. Fake social security number, forged transcripts, all purchased with Betty Matthews' life insurance. Grace's mask slipped for just a moment, revealing the predator beneath. Then it was back, the confused victim. "I was 17 and alone. I did what I had to do to survive." "Including killing 14 men?" "I didn't kill anyone." Chen smiled coldly. "Then explain this." He played a recording, Grace's voice talking to Hunter. 14 down, Liam makes 15, nice round number to retire on." The courtroom erupted. Grace went pale, her hand going to her belly. That's out of context." "The context being planning your husband's murder?" Chen pressed. "Tell me, Mrs. Matthews, what context makes that acceptable?" Grace looked at her lawyer, panic finally showing. Amanda objected, called for a recess, tried everything. But the damage was done. The prosecution's closing argument was masterful. Chen walked the jury through each murder, each identity, each calculated decision to end a life for profit. Grace Matthews is not a victim. She's not mentally ill. She's a predator who spent 23 years perfecting her craft. She killed Betty Matthews, the woman who showed her love. She killed Tom Bradley, leaving Veronica Reeves to grieve alone. She killed 13 other men whose only crime was loneliness and wealth, and she tried to kill Liam Matthews and his father. Why? Money, simple greed dressed up as love. Amanda's closing tried to create reasonable doubt, but her heart wasn't in it. Even she couldn't defend the indefensible. The jury deliberated for 6 hours. When they returned, Grace stood, hands cuffed despite her pregnancy. For the first time since this began, she looked afraid. On the count of murder in the first degree of Betty Matthews, we find the defendant guilty. On the count of murder in the first degree of Richard Holbrook, we find the defendant guilty. 14 times they said it, 14 guilty verdicts, plus conspiracy, fraud, attempted murder. Guilty on all counts. Grace swayed, Amanda catching her arm. Across the aisle, victims' families wept relief, grief, closure, all mixing together. "The jury has found special circumstances apply," Judge Marshall said. "The penalty phase will begin Monday. The defendant is remanded to custody." As they led Grace away, she looked back at Liam. For a moment, her mask dropped completely. The real Grace Michelle, whatever she truly was, stared at him with naked hatred. "This isn't over," she mouthed. But it was. The penalty phase was swift. Testimony from victims' families, evidence of Grace's lack of remorse, the calculated nature of her crimes. The jury deliberated for 2 days. We, the jury, sentenced Grace Matthews to death by lethal injection. Grace didn't react, just stared straight ahead, hand on her belly. Her child would be born on death row, raised by strangers, carrying the legacy of a mother who killed without conscience. Outside the courthouse, media swarmed. Liam pushed through, Isla and Veronica beside him, needing to escape the circus his life had become. In the parking garage, they finally stopped. "It's over," Isla said, voice wondering. "It's really over." "The trial's over," Liam corrected. "Appeals will take years. But yeah, baby girl, the worst is done." "What about the baby?" Isla asked. "Mom's baby?" Liam had been dreading this question. Grace was 5 months pregnant. The child would be born in prison, immediately taken by Child Protective Services. "I don't know," he admitted. "Could we?" Isla stopped, shook her head. "Never mind. Stupid idea." "What?" "Take it. The baby." She looked at him with Betty's eyes, Grace's features, but a heart all her own. "It's my half-sibling, and it's not the baby's fault who its parents are." Liam looked at Veronica, who'd been quiet through the verdict. She met his gaze, something passing between them. "That's a big decision," Veronica said carefully. "Taking on Grace's child." "My sibling," Isla corrected firmly. "Your sibling," Veronica agreed. "It would be complicated, difficult. People would talk." "People already talk," Isla pointed out. "At least this way the baby has family. Real family. Not whatever foster system would do to Grace Matthews' kid." Liam pulled his daughter close. At 17, she had more wisdom and compassion than adults twice her age. Betty would have been proud. "We'll think about it," he promised. "Talk to lawyers, see what's possible. But Isla, you're already the best big sister that baby could ask for." They drove home in comfortable silence, the weight of the day settling over them. Grace would appeal, Hunter would serve his 15 years, and life would slowly return to something like normal. That night, Liam found Veronica on his porch swing, 2 glasses of wine waiting. "Thought you might need this," she said. "You thought right." He sat beside her, their shoulders touching. Hell of a day. Hell of a year. She sipped her wine. "You know Isla's right. About the baby. I know. It won't be easy. Grace's child, Hunter's child. The media will have a field day." "Since when do we do easy?" She smiled, that sharp expression he'd grown to love. "Good point." They swung gently, watching lightning bugs dance in the humid air. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, lawyers, media, the complex process of building a life from the rubble Grace left behind. But tonight, they had this. Justice served, truth revealed, and the possibility of something better ahead. "Betty would have taken the baby," Liam said suddenly. "No question. She took in Grace, knowing she was damaged. She'd do the same for Grace's child." "Then we have our answer." Veronica took his hand. "We take the baby, give it the family Grace never really had, break the cycle." "We?" She looked at him, vulnerability cracking her professional mask. "If you'll have me, us, Jackson and me, we could be a family. A weird, complicated, slightly broken family, but still." "The best kind," Liam finished. He kissed her then, tasting wine and possibility. In the distance, Houston glittered like a promise. Somewhere in that city, Grace sat in a cell, counting days she'd never see as a free woman. Hunter lay in federal prison, paying for choices that destroyed 2 families. Their victims rested, finally at peace. And here, on this porch swing, Liam Matthews began to build something new. Not perfect, not easy, but real. A family forged from loss, strengthened by truth, and bound by the choice to be better than those who'd tried to destroy them. It was enough. More than enough. It was justice. 6 months. That's how long it took for the Matthews house to stop feeling like a crime scene and start feeling like home again. Liam stood in the kitchen, morning coffee in hand, watching the sunrise paint the Texas sky in shades of amber and rose. The same view he'd watched for years, but everything else had changed. "Morning, Dad." Isla padded in, still in pajamas, hair a mess. She looked younger these days, the weight of her mother's trial finally lifting from her shoulders. "Morning, baby girl. Sleep okay?" "Better." She poured orange juice, settled at the breakfast bar. Jackson's mom is picking me up at 10. We're going to the bookstore, then lunch. Jackson, Veronica's son, who'd become Isla's closest friend over the months of shared trauma and healing. 2 kids bound by having parents who'd survived Grace Matthews. That's nice. Tell Veronica Liam caught himself. Tell Miss Reeves I said hello. Isla smirked. You can call her Veronica, Dad. I know you text each other like 50 times a day. We're friends. Uh-huh. Isla's knowing look was too mature for 17. Friends who have dinner together 3 times a week. Friends who go to Jackson's baseball games together. Friends who eat your breakfast, Liam interrupted, but he was smiling. The truth was, Veronica had become essential to their lives in ways that had nothing to do with legal advice. She showed up with groceries when he forgot to shop. She helped Isla with college applications. She made them laugh when the weight of the past year threatened to crush them. But they hadn't crossed that line. Not since that night on the porch swing. Too much healing to do, too many complications to sort through. They orbited each other like cautious planets, drawn together but afraid to collide. Dad? Isla's voice pulled him back. The baby's coming next week. Right. The baby. Grace had given birth 2 months ago in the prison hospital, a healthy girl she'd named Hope, of all things. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. Child Protective Services had temporary custody while the courts decided placement. I know. Are we really doing this? Taking her? Liam sat across from his daughter. Only if you're sure. This is your decision, too. She's my sister. Isla said it simply, like that answered everything. Maybe it did. Mom might be a monster, but Hope didn't choose her parents. She deserves a chance. You know people will talk. Kids at school. Already talk. I'm the serial killer's daughter, remember? Isla's chin lifted. At least this way, Hope has family. Real family. The doorbell rang before Liam could respond. Isla jumped up to answer it, returning with Veronica and Jackson. 10 years old, all knees and elbows, Jackson had his mother's sharp intelligence and his late father's easy smile. Mr. Matthews, Jackson bounded over. Mom said you might take us to the batting cages later. Jackson, Veronica warned. We talked about inviting ourselves. It's fine, Liam said, meaning it. Been too long since I swung a bat. You're on. Veronica smiled, that soft expression she only wore outside the courtroom. She'd dressed down today jeans, Houston Astros t-shirt, hair in a ponytail. She looked younger, lighter, beautiful. Coffee? Liam offered. Always. They moved with easy familiarity, Liam pouring while Veronica grabbed her favorite mug, the one that had somehow migrated from her house to his. Their hands brushed as he passed it over, a spark of electricity that they both pretended not to feel. So, Veronica said, settling at the counter, I heard from CPS yesterday. The home visit is scheduled for Thursday. Are we ready? Legally? Yes. All the paperwork's in order. The judge is inclined to approve, given the circumstances. She paused. Emotionally, that's up to you and Isla. I'm ready, Isla said firmly. Hope needs us. What about school? People finding out? Veronica's lawyer mode engaged. We need to be prepared for backlash. Let them talk. Isla shrugged. They've been talking since Mom got arrested. At least this gives them something new to gossip about. Jackson, who'd been quietly eating cereal, looked up. I think it's cool. You're saving a baby. That's like superhero stuff. Hardly, Liam said, but Jackson's simple acceptance warmed something in his chest. Dad is kind of a hero, Isla agreed. He survived Mom, saved Grandpa, and put her in jail. That's pretty heroic. We survived, Liam corrected. All of us. The kids headed upstairs to get ready, leaving Liam and Veronica alone. The kitchen suddenly felt smaller, more intimate. You're good with him, Liam said. Jackson, he's lucky to have you. Most days I feel like I'm fumbling in the dark. Single parenting isn't exactly what I planned. She stared into her coffee. Tom would have been such a good dad. Patient, funny, always ready with a joke. He lives on in Jackson. That smile? Pure Tom Bradley? Veronica looked up, eyes bright with unshed tears. You remember his smile? Hard to forget. He lit up every room. Liam reached across the counter, took her hand. He'd be proud of the job you're doing, of the man Jackson's becoming. Some days I'm not sure I'm doing anything right. Join the club. I missed 70% of Isla's life chasing oil money. Now I'm about to raise my serial killer wife's baby. Pretty sure the parenting manual doesn't cover that. She laughed, squeezing his hand. We make quite a pair, don't we? The widow and the widower, raising kids in the shadow of Grace Matthews. When you put it like that, it sounds like a bad country song. Or a really complicated romance novel. The words slipped out before she could stop them. Color rose in her cheeks. I mean, Veronica. He turned her hand over, traced patterns on her palm. These last 6 months you've been everything. Friend, lawyer, co-parent. But I need to know, is that all we are? She was quiet for so long he thought she wouldn't answer. Then, I think about kissing you approximately 50 times a day. I dream about you. I catch myself planning our future before I remember we don't have one. Not officially. She met his eyes. But I'm terrified, Liam. The last time I loved someone, Grace killed him. What if, hey? He came around the counter, pulled her to standing. Grace is on death row, Hunter's in federal prison. The only danger here is that we're both carrying enough baggage to fill a freight train. That's a lot of baggage. Good thing I work in shipping. His attempt at humor fell flat, but she smiled anyway. Veronica, I'm not asking for everything all at once. Just dinner. A real date. See where it goes. We have dinner all the time. With our kids, talking about lawyers and babies and trauma. He tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. I want to take you somewhere nice. Talk about movies and books and whether you prefer mountains or beaches. Normal stuff. I don't remember how to do normal. Neither do I. Maybe we can figure it out together. She leaned into him, forehead resting against his chest. What if we mess this up? The kids are finally stable. We have a routine. What if we don't? He tilted her chin up. What if this is exactly what's supposed to happen? What if all that pain was just preparing us for something better? You really believe that? I believe in us. In this family we're building. In the chance to be happy again. He smiled. Plus, Ila's already planning our wedding. Might as well give her something to work with. She is not. Found a bridal magazine under her bed last week. Had pages marked and everything. Veronica laughed, the sound filling the kitchen like music. Mine has Jackson asking when he gets a dad. Apparently all his friends have one and he feels left out. So really? This is for the kids. Totally selfless. Absolutely. They were close enough to kiss, the moment stretching between them like spun gold. Then footsteps on the stairs broke the spell. They stepped apart, but something had shifted. A decision made, a line ready to be crossed. Friday night, Liam said. 7 o'clock. I'll pick you up. Like a real date? Like a real date. Flowers, restaurant reservations, awkward small talk. The whole thing. I haven't been on a first date in 15 years. I haven't been on one in 20. We'll be disasters together. Isla and Jackson burst into the kitchen, backpacks ready, energy crackling. Batting cages? Jackson cheered. Mom, can we get nachos after? We'll see, Veronica said, but her eyes stayed on Liam. They piled into Liam's truck, kids in the back arguing about baseball teams. Veronica's hand found his over the center console, a quiet promise of things to come. 6 months ago, Liam's world had shattered. Wife revealed as a killer, brother a traitor, whole life exposed as a lie. But from those ashes, something new was growing. A patchwork family held together by choice rather than blood, by love rather than obligation. As they drove through Houston's Saturday morning traffic, Liam caught Isla's eye in the rearview mirror. She was watching him and Veronica with a knowing smile. You okay, baby girl? Yeah, Dad, I'm good. She nudged Jackson. Hey, maybe we should double date, you and Veronica, me and Marcus Chen. Marcus Chen, the banker's son. Liam's protective instincts flared. Since when? Since none of your business, Isla said cheerfully. But don't worry, I did a full background check. No serial killers in his family tree. Veronica snorted. That's my girl. Our girl, Liam corrected, then froze. Too much, too soon. But Veronica just squeezed his hand. Our girl, she agreed. The batting cages were crowded, families enjoying the October warmth before Texas remembered it was supposed to have fall. Liam helped Jackson with his stance, while Veronica and Isla claimed a picnic table, heads together in conversation. "Mr. Matthews," Jackson said between swings, "are you going to marry my mom?" The question caught Liam off guard. We haven't. Why do you ask?" "Because she smiles when she talks about you. Real smiles, not the fake ones she uses for work." Jackson connected with a pitch, sending it flying. "And you look at her like my dad used to, like she's the best thing in the world. Your dad was a smart man." "Yeah." Jackson's voice went quiet. "I miss him." "I know, buddy. That's okay. Missing him means you loved him. Mom says you knew him." "A little. He was a good guy. Funny, smart, terrible at poker." Liam smiled at the memory. "He would have been proud of you." "You think so?" "I know so." They switched places, Liam taking a few swings while Jackson watched. The kid had Tom's analytical mind, studying Liam's form with serious concentration. "If you marry Mom, would that make you my dad?" Another direct hit to Liam's emotional armor. "That would make me your stepdad. But Jackson, nobody could replace your father. That's not what this is about." "I know." Jackson scuffed his shoe in the dirt. "But maybe. Maybe you could be a different kind of dad? Like bonus dad or something?" "Bonus dad." Liam tested the words. "I like that." "Cool." Jackson brightened. "Can you teach me that curveball you were telling me about?" They spent the next hour at the cages, then joined the girls for nachos and stories. Watching Veronica laugh at Jackson's terrible jokes, seeing Isla help him with his math homework, it felt like family. Not the family any of them had planned, but maybe the one they needed. That night, after dropping Veronica and Jackson at home, Liam found Isla on the porch swing. "Good day?" he asked, settling beside her. "The best." She leaned against his shoulder. "You're going to ask her out, aren't you? Veronica?" "Already did, Friday night." "Finally!" Isla pumped her fist. "I was starting to think I'd have to lock you two in a closet until you figured it out." "Very parent trap of you." "I've been taking notes." She grew serious. "Dad, I know it's weird, with Mom and everything, but Veronica makes you happy, and you deserve to be happy." "We all do, baby girl." "Yeah." She was quiet for a moment. "Do you think Hope will be happy with us?" "I think we'll do our best to make sure she is." "Good." Isla stood, headed for the door. "Oh, and Dad, wear the blue shirt on Friday. It brings out your eyes." "How do you know about—" "Veronica texts me. We've been planning your outfit for days." She grinned. "Welcome to having women in your life who actually talk to each other." As she disappeared inside, Liam stayed on the swing, watching the stars appear one by one. 6 months ago, this porch had been where his world ended. Now, it was where his new world was beginning. His phone buzzed. Veronica. "Thank you for today. Jackson hasn't stopped talking about his bonus dad teaching him baseball." He typed back, "Thank you for being patient with me, for being here." "Always," came the response. Then, "Blue shirt on Friday. Trust us on this." Liam laughed, the sound carrying across the quiet neighborhood. Life after Grace was complicated, messy, full of challenges he'd never imagined. But it was also full of possibilities, of second chances, of love growing in unexpected places. The storm had passed. Now it was time to build something new. "You're fidgeting," Isla observed, watching Liam adjust his tie for the 10th time. The blue shirt unanimously chosen by the women in his life fit perfectly, but he kept tugging at the collar like it was strangling him. "I'm not fidgeting. I'm adjusting." "Dad, you've faced down serial killers and FBI agents. It's just dinner, with Veronica, who you see literally every day, as friends. This is different." He gave up on the tie, turned to face his daughter. "What if we're making a mistake? What if you're happy?" Isla interrupted. "What if something good comes from all the bad? What if you stop overthinking and just go have dinner with the woman you're crazy about?" The doorbell rang before he could respond. Isla grinned, practically shoving him toward the stairs. "Go! I'll let her in." Liam descended to find Veronica in the foyer, and his brain temporarily short-circuited. She wore a simple black dress that was anything but simple on her, hair swept up to reveal elegant neck curves he'd dreamed about kissing. 6 months of careful friendship, and she still took his breath away. "Hi," she said, suddenly shy. "Hi yourself." He found his voice, crossed to her. "You look, wow, eloquent as always." But she was smiling, nervous energy crackling between them. "You clean up pretty well yourself. The blue shirt was a good choice." "I had help." "The best kind." She glanced around. "Where's our fashion consultant?" "Right here." Isla bounded down the stairs, camera in hand. "Okay, I need pictures. This is historical documentation." "Isla," Liam protested. "First official date after everything? This is going in the family album." She raised the camera. "Smile." They posed awkwardly, then more naturally as Veronica laughed at something Isla whispered. The flash captured them mid-laugh. Veronica's hand on Liam's arm, his face turned toward her with an expression of pure adoration. "Perfect," Isla declared. "Okay, ground rules. Home by midnight. Ila." "Kidding, but seriously, have fun. Jackson's already here, we're having movie night with Maria. Hope's asleep upstairs, everything's handled." She made shooing motions. "Go, be normal people." Outside, Liam opened the truck door for Veronica, earning an eye roll. "Chivalry? Really?" "My mama raised me right." He paused. "Well, Betty raised me right, before Grace killed her. And we're making dead mother jokes already. This date's off to a great start." "Too dark?" "Never." She squeezed his hand as he started the engine. "Dark humor's how we survived this year." He'd made reservations at Brennan's Houston institution, known for turtle soup and tableside bananas Foster. Intimate lighting, jazz trio in the corner, the kind of place that whispered romance without shouting it. "Fancy," Veronica noted as they were seated. "Trying to impress me, Matthews?" "Desperately." He accepted wine menus from the sommelier. "Is it working?" "Ask me after the wine." They ordered a Bordeaux that cost more than Liam usually spent on groceries, but tonight felt worth the splurge. When it arrived, he raised his glass. "To new beginnings. To surviving old endings." She clinked her glass against his. "And to whatever comes next." The wine was perfect, the appetizers better. But the real magic was in the conversation. For the first time in months, they talked about things that had nothing to do with trials or trauma. Veronica confessed her secret addiction to reality cooking shows. Liam admitted he'd read all the Harry Potter books because Isla loved them. They debated movies, discovered shared love of terrible action films, argued playfully about baseball versus football. "I can't believe you've never been to a rodeo," Liam said over their main course. "You've lived in Texas for 15 years. City girl, remember? Rodeos always seemed so fun, exciting, essentially Texan? Dirty." She laughed at his mock offense. "All that dust and cow stuff." "Cow stuff. That's the technical term. I'm a lawyer, not a rancher. We'll have to fix that. Spring rodeo season, you and Jackson are coming with us. Full experience funnel cakes, bull riding, the works. Planning our spring already?" She raised an eyebrow. "Presumptuous." "Optimistic." He reached across the table, took her hand. "I'm tired of planning for worst cases. Maybe it's time to plan for good things." "Like rodeos? Like family trips? Like teaching Jackson to fish while you and Isla mock our technique? Like Sunday dinners and birthday parties and all the normal stuff we missed while surviving Grace?" Her fingers intertwined with his. "That sounds dangerously like a future." "Would that be so bad?" "No." Her voice was soft. "It would be wonderful, which terrifies me. Because wonderful things can be taken away." "Exactly." She met his eyes. "I loved Tom with everything I had. When Grace and Hunter took him, I thought I'd never risk that kind of pain again. Then you walked into my office, all righteous anger and desperate love for your daughter, and I thought maybe some risks are worth taking. Maybe some people are worth the possibility of pain." She smiled. "Maybe I've been hiding behind my grief long enough." The waiter appeared with dessert menus, breaking the moment, but the current between them remained, electric and undeniable. "Split the bananas, Foster?" Liam suggested. I promise not to judge if you hog all the ice cream. Deal, but I make no promises about sharing. They watched the tableside preparation, flames dancing as the waiter performed the ritual with practiced flair. Sharing the dessert felt intimate, trading spoons and stolen tastes, laughing when caramel dripped on Veronica's dress. Grace would have had a fit, she said, dabbing at the spot. Everything had to be perfect, controlled. One of many reasons this is better. Liam caught a drop of ice cream at the corner of her mouth with his thumb. Perfect is overrated. Messy is more fun. Real is more fun. After dinner, neither wanted the evening to end. They walked along Buffalo Bayou, city lights reflecting in the water, hand in hand like teenagers. I have a confession, Veronica said. I researched first date conversation topics, had a whole list prepared. How'd that work out? Forgot every single one the moment I saw you in that shirt. She bumped his shoulder. You should know you have very distracting forearms. My forearms? When you roll up your sleeves, it's a thing. She was blushing, visible even in the lamplight. Isla mentioned I might have stared during baseball practice. Traitor. She's supposed to be on my side. I think she's on the side of us being happy. Smart girl. They found a bench, sat watching joggers and dog walkers pass. Normal people living normal lives, something that felt both foreign and achingly desired. Can I ask you something? Veronica said. About Hope? Of course. Are you sure about taking her? Raising Grace's baby? It's a huge commitment. I'm sure. No hesitation. She's Isla's sister. She's family. And maybe raising Hope right is the best revenge against Grace. Showing that love wins over manipulation. That family is about choice, not blood. You're a good man, Liam Matthews. I'm trying to be. For Isla, for Hope. He turned to her. For you and Jackson, if you'll let me. We're a lot of baggage for a first date conversation. Good thing I'm planning on many more dates. He pulled her closer. Besides, you come with Jackson, who's basically the coolest kid ever. That's not baggage, that's a bonus. Smooth talker. Country boy charm. We're trained from birth. She laughed, leaning into him. Tom would have liked you. You're both terrible at jokes, but commit fully to them anyway. High praise. The highest. She was quiet for a moment. I used to feel guilty, thinking about moving on, like I was betraying his memory, but lately I think he'd be mad if I didn't. He loved life too much to want me wasting mine on grief. Grace tried to take everything from us, Liam said. Our partners, our security, our ability to trust. Letting her win by staying broken? That's the real betrayal. When did you get so wise? Somewhere between my wife trying to kill me and raising a teenage daughter alone. He pressed a kiss to her temple. Also, I may have been reading self-help books. Don't tell Dylan he'd never let me live it down. Speaking of Dylan, has he apologized yet for the whole helping Hunter spy on you thing? He's tried. Keeps showing up with beer and brisket looking like a kicked puppy. Liam sighed. I'll forgive him eventually. He got played just like the rest of us, but trust, that'll take time. Time we have. Veronica stood, pulling him up. Walk me to the truck? It's getting late, and we have teenagers waiting to interrogate us. They strolled back slowly, neither wanting to break the spell. At the truck, Veronica turned to face him, hands on his chest. Thank you for tonight, for taking the chance, for being patient while I figured out how to do this again. Thank you for saying yes, for being brave enough to try. He cupped her face gently. Veronica, She kissed him, soft and sweet with promise underneath. Different from their first kiss months ago, less desperate, more certain. When they parted, both were breathless. Save something for the second date, she murmured against his lips. Already planning the second date? And the third, and the fourth. She smiled. Ila's not the only one who's been optimistic. The drive home was comfortable, hands clasped over the console, country music playing softly. Liam walked her to her door like a proper gentleman, earning another eye roll and another kiss. Friday? He asked. Jackson has a game. Thought we could all go, then dinner after. From first date to family outing. We're doing this backwards. Nothing about our story is conventional. Why start now? Good point. Friday sounds perfect. One more kiss, then she was inside, porch light flicking off. Liam sat in his truck for a moment, grinning like an idiot. His phone buzzed a text from Isla. Details tomorrow, or I'm hiring a private investigator. He drove home feeling lighter than he had in years. The ghost of Grace Matthews still lingered, would always linger in some ways. But tonight had proven something important. They could build something new on the ashes of what she'd destroyed. At home, he found Isla waiting in the kitchen, Jackson asleep on the couch, Maria knitting in her chair. Well, Isla demanded, it was nice. Nice? That's all you're giving me? Perfect. It was perfect. He kissed the top of her head. Thank you, for pushing me, for being okay with this. Dad, you've been alone my whole life. Even when Mom was here, you were alone. Isla's wisdom struck again. You deserve someone who sees you, really sees you. Veronica does that. Yeah, she does. Plus, Jackson's awesome. I've always wanted a little brother. She grinned. Well, I'm getting two now with Hope, but a 10-year-old brother who actually talks? Bonus. They chatted quietly while Liam helped clean up movie night debris. Maria smiled knowingly but said nothing, just patted his cheek before heading to bed. Some things didn't need words. Later, checking on Hope, still strange thinking of her as his daughter, but getting easier, Liam felt the shape of their new life solidifying. Not the life he'd planned, certainly not the life he'd had with Grace, but something real and good and worth protecting. His phone lit up with a text from Veronica. Best first date in 15 years. Can't wait for Friday. He typed back, best first date in 20 years. Sweet dreams. Already guaranteed, came the response, followed by a heart emoji that made him feel ridiculously young. Outside, Houston hummed with late-night energy. Inside, his daughters slept safe, his chosen family grew stronger, and somewhere across town, the woman he was falling for was probably smiling at her phone. Grace had tried to destroy him. Instead, she'd cleared the way for something better. Liam Matthews was finally ready to live again. The rain started just as Liam pulled up to the jeweler's shop, because of course it did. After 6 months of dating Veronica, he'd learned to read the signs. Houston weather had a sense of humor about important moments. Their first kiss? Thunderstorm. First, I love you? Hurricane warning. Now picking out an engagement ring? Torrential downpour. Universe trying to tell you something? Dylan asked from the passenger seat. Their friendship had slowly rebuilt over the months, mortared with apologies and tested by time. Not the same as before, nothing was but stronger in some ways. Yeah, to bring an umbrella. Liam squinted through the windshield. You sure about this place? Best jeweler in Houston. Made my Maria's ring 40 years ago, still perfect. Dylan's voice softened. Man knows about second chances. Lost his first wife young, built something beautiful with his second, like you. They dashed through the rain, arriving soaked but laughing. The shop was old-school elegant wood panels, soft lighting, cases full of promises wrapped in gold and silver. Mr. Matthews? An elderly man emerged from the back, slight German accent coloring his words. Dylan told me your story. I'm Heinrich. Please come see what I've prepared. He led them to a private room, pulled out a tray of rings that caught the light like captured stars. All beautiful, all wrong. She's not flashy, Liam said, studying them. Sophisticated but warm. Classic but not boring. Smart, funny, takes no crap from anyone. You're describing the woman, not the ring, Heinrich observed with a smile. Tell me what makes her eyes light up. Liam thought about it. Her son's laugh, justice being served, really good coffee. This thing she does in court where she destroys opposing counsel with perfect logic. He paused. And moments when everything's quiet and we're just us. Heinrich nodded, disappeared into the back. He returned with a single ring Art Deco-inspired, center diamond surrounded by smaller stones in a pattern that looked like stars. From the 1920s, Heinrich explained. Came to me from an estate sale. The original owner was a judge, bought it for his wife after she helped him solve a difficult case. They were married 60 years. It's perfect. Liam could see it on Veronica's hand, see her eyes when she recognized the symbolism. How did you? 50 years in this business, you learn to match rings to love stories. Heinrich winked. This one's been waiting for the right story. Yours fits. An hour later, ring secured in his pocket, Liam sat in the truck while Dylan drove. The rain had stopped, sun breaking through clouds in that dramatic Texas way. So when you asking? Dylan inquired. Anniversary of our first date. 2 weeks. Liam touched the ring box. Assuming I don't chicken out. You won't. Man who faced down Grace Matthews ain't scared of a proposal. Grace never made me want to throw up from nerves. That's 'cause you love Veronica. Real love. Not whatever toxic waste Grace was selling. Dylan navigated traffic with practiced ease. Besides, that woman's been ready to marry you for months. Jackson accidentally called you Dad at the baseball game last week, and she didn't correct him. He did? You didn't hear? Too busy coaching third base. Dylan grinned. Kid slid home, jumped up yelling, "Did you see that, Dad?" Veronica just smiled. The warmth that spread through Liam's chest had nothing to do with the Texas heat. 3 years since Grace's arrest, their patchwork family had grown into something beautiful. Isla thriving at Rice University, Hope toddling around calling everyone Bubba, Jackson finding the father figure he'd needed, and Veronica. Veronica had become everything. "Mr. Liam!" Maria greeted him at home, Hope on her hip. "This baby girl has been asking for you all morning." "Dada!" Hope reached out, and Liam's heart melted like it did every time. Grace's daughter, but nothing of Grace in her. All sunshine and laughter, as if love could rewrite DNA. "Hey, beautiful girl. Been good for Maria?" "Always good," Maria said, then dropped her voice. "Miss Veronica called, said to remind you about dinner Friday. Family dinner." Family dinner. Their weekly tradition, all of them around the table, Jackson and Isla debating movies while Hope threw Cheerios, Veronica's hand finding his under the table. Normal. Wonderful. Everything Grace had tried to steal. His phone buzzed. Text from Isla. "Dad, SOS. Need you at campus ASAP. Don't tell V." 30 minutes later, he found his daughter at the student union surrounded by what looked like wedding magazines and fabric samples. "Finally." Isla bounced up. "I've been planning. When you propose shut up, I know you bought the ring. Dylan's wife can't keep secrets. We need to discuss the wedding." "I haven't even asked her yet." "Details. She'll say yes." Isla spread out her materials. "Now, I'm thinking spring wedding at the ranch. Bluebonnets will be blooming. Small guest list, maybe 100 people. Jackson as ring bearer, Hope as flower girl if she can walk straight by then." Isla. "Oh, and we need to coordinate with Veronica's mom. She's flying in from Seattle next month. Perfect timing to start planning." "Baby girl, slow down. What if Veronica wants a simple courthouse wedding?" Isla gave him a look perfected over 20 years. "Dad, the woman organized a legal strategy to take down a serial killer. You think she does anything simple?" Fair point. They spent an hour going through Isla's ideas, some practical, some pure fantasy. But her enthusiasm was infectious. Somewhere between debates about BBQ versus formal catering, Liam realized this was really happening. He was going to marry Veronica Reeves. "You know," Isla said, closing a magazine, "Mom's hearing is next week." Grace, always lurking at the edges of their happiness. 3 years of appeals had finally run out. Next week, they'd set the execution date. "I know." "Are you going?" "No." Liam had made that decision long ago. "She's not part of our lives anymore." She sent another letter, to Hope this time. Isla pulled out an envelope. Maria intercepted it. "Should we?" "Burn it." No hesitation. "Hope will know the truth when she's older, but she doesn't need Grace's poison in her life." "Yeah." Isla lit a match from the coffee shop candles, held it to the envelope. They watched it burn in a metal trash can, Grace's words turning to ash. "You know what? I'm glad she's finally going to pay. For Grandma Betty. For all of them." "Me too, baby girl." But even Grace couldn't dampen their mood for long. They spent the rest of the afternoon planning, Isla's excitement building with each detail. By the time Liam dropped her back at her dorm, she'd extracted promises about everything from the proposal location to the honeymoon destination. Friday arrived faster than expected. Liam had planned everything perfectly private table at Veronica's favorite restaurant. Photographer hidden nearby, Jackson and Isla in on the surprise. What he hadn't planned for was Veronica showing up in the same black dress from their first date. Nostalgia? He asked, pulling out her chair. Recognition, she corrected. 3 years since you changed our lives with one dinner. Best decision I ever made. Tied with taking Hope. Veronica smiled. Though she did try to flush Jackson's homework down the toilet yesterday, so jury's out. They laughed, ordered wine, fell into their comfortable rhythm. But Liam kept touching the ring box in his pocket, heart racing every time. You okay? Veronica asked over dessert. You seem nervous. Just thinking. About how different life is now. 3 years ago I was broken, lost everything I thought mattered. He took her hand. Then I found you, and realized I'd never had everything until now. Liam. I used to think Grace stole my life, but she just cleared away what wasn't real. He stood, pulled her up with him. You showed me what real looked like, what love actually meant. What are you doing? Something I should have done a year ago. He dropped to one knee, restaurant fading away. Just them, just this moment. Veronica Reeves, you saved me in every way a person can be saved. You fought beside me, raised our kids with me, showed me that second chances were worth taking. Will you take this last chance with me? Will you marry me? The ring caught the light, perfect like Heinrich had known it would be. Veronica's hands flew to her mouth, tears streaming. Liam, say yes, Mom. Jackson's voice carried from 2 tables over where he and Isla had been hiding. What he said, Isla added. We've been planning this wedding for months. Veronica laughed through her tears, pulled Liam to his feet. Yes, of course yes, 1,000 times yes. He slipped the ring on her finger, kissed her while the restaurant applauded. Jackson and Isla rushed over, Hope toddling behind with Maria, and suddenly they were all embracing, crying, laughing. Did you really plan this whole thing? Veronica asked the kids. Mostly Isla, Jackson admitted. But I helped pick the ring. Mr. Heinrich showed us pictures. Traitors, all of you. But she was smiling, admiring how the ring caught the light. It's perfect. You're all perfect. Later at home, they sat on the porch swing while the kids played in the yard. Veronica kept looking at her ring, then at Liam, like she couldn't believe both were real. Spring wedding? She asked. Isla mentioned bluebonnets. Whatever you want. Big, small, tomorrow, next year. Just marry me. Tomorrow's too soon. I need time to find the perfect dress to make you cry. She snuggled closer. But spring sounds perfect. New beginnings and all that. Speaking of new beginnings, Liam pulled out his phone, showed her an email. The ranch is finally ours. Closing finished yesterday. They'd been looking at property for months somewhere to blend their families fully, give the kids room to grow. The ranch outside Austin was perfect. 20 acres, main house big enough for everyone, smaller house for Maria, good schools for Jackson and Hope. Our fresh start, Veronica murmured. Think we can make it work? All of us under one roof? We've made everything else work. Serial killers, custody battles, blending families. A ranch should be easy. Nothing with us is easy. No, Liam agreed, but it's worth it. They swung gently, watching their kids, all 3 of them, chase fireflies in the growing dusk. Tomorrow would bring wedding planning and house logistics and all the complications of their beautiful, messy life. But tonight was for celebration, for promises, for the family they'd built from ruins. I love you, Veronica said quietly. Thank you for not giving up, for waiting until I was ready. Thank you for being worth waiting for. The doorbell rang, interrupting the moment. Isla ran to answer, returning with an express envelope. It's from the prison, she said, recognizing the return address. From Grace. Veronica took the envelope. Want me to? Burn it, Liam said. Whatever she has to say doesn't matter anymore. But Veronica was already opening it, lawyer instincts kicking in. Her face went pale as she read. What? Liam demanded. She knows about the engagement. Has a source inside the restaurant. Veronica's voice was steady despite her expression. She's threatening to reveal something about Hunter if we go through with the wedding, something that could affect Hope's custody. That's impossible. Hunter's dead. Killed in prison 2 years ago. Shanked by another inmate. Poetic justice, the papers had called it. Apparently not. Veronica handed him the letter. According to this, Hunter faked his death. He's been in witness protection, and Grace knows where. The words blurred as Liam read. Threats, manipulations, vintage Grace even from death row. But at the bottom, something that made his blood run cold. P.S. Ask Veronica about the tea she served Tom the day he died. Some secrets are worth keeping. Unless you'd prefer I share them with the authorities. Your move. Family. Veronica? Liam looked up. What is she talking about? For the first time since he'd known her, Veronica Reeves looked terrified. Not of Grace, but of him. Of losing what they'd just promised each other. Liam, I can explain. But before she could, Isla's phone rang. Unknown number. She answered on speaker out of habit. Hello, Isla. The voice was familiar, impossible. It's Uncle Hunter. We need to talk about your mother's execution, and about what really happened to Tom Bradley. The line went dead. They sat frozen. Perfect evening shattered. Grace's poison reaching from death row to corrupt one more moment of happiness. But as Liam looked at his family, Veronica pale but determined, Isla fierce with protective anger, Jackson confused but brave, Hope oblivious in her innocence, he made a decision. No. Liam, Veronica started. No. Whatever Grace thinks she knows, whatever game she's playing, we don't play along. He took Veronica's hands. I don't care what happened with Tom. I don't care if Hunter's alive or dead or living on Mars. I care about us, this family, our future. But if she tells the authorities, then we face it together, like we've faced everything else. He kissed her forehead. No more secrets. No more letting Grace control us from a cell. We're getting married in the spring, moving to our ranch, raising our kids. End of story. What about Hunter? Isla asked. If he's alive, he's a dead man walking. Coming after us means leaving witness protection. He's not that stupid. Liam stood, pulled them all close. Grace wants to ruin this moment. Don't let her. We're stronger than her poison. Dad's right, Isla said firmly. We've beaten her before. We'll do it again. Together, Jackson added, young voice full of determination. Gather. Hope contributed, clapping her hands. Veronica looked at her ring, then at her family. You're right, all of you. She tore Grace's letter in half. Spring wedding it is. And if anyone tries to stop us, they'll learn what happens when you threaten a family of survivors. They burned the letter pieces together, watching Grace's threats turn to smoke. Whatever came next, Hunter's resurrection, Grace's execution, secrets from the past, they'd face it as a family. The wedding would be beautiful. The ranch would be perfect. Their life would be everything Grace had tried to steal. And somewhere in federal death row, a serial killer would learn her final lesson. Love always wins, even if it has to fight for victory. The morning Veronica's water broke, Liam was installing the last section of fence on their ranch property. 6 months pregnant with twins, she'd insisted on supervising, claiming pregnancy didn't make her fragile. The Texas sun painted everything gold as she called out measurements, one hand on her enormous belly, the other holding blueprints for the chicken coop Isla designed. Left post needs to come up 2 inches, she directed, then gasped. Oh, Liam dropped his tools. Oh, as in, I have an opinion, or oh, as in my water just broke and these babies apparently inherited your impatience. She gripped the porch railing, breathing through a contraction. Hospital. Now. What followed was controlled chaos. Liam calling Maria to get the kids, Veronica timing contractions with lawyer-like precision, the truck flying down Highway 290 toward Austin while she alternated between breathing exercises and listing all the things they still needed to prepare. The nursery isn't finished, she panted. We don't have names finalized. I haven't reviewed the partnership agreement for the new Houston office. Veronica. He reached over, took her hand. The babies don't care about partnership agreements. I care. We're launching a non-profit law firm. There are details. She broke off, squeezing his hand hard enough to crack bones. Okay, these 2 are definitely yours. Only Matthew's kids would be this stubborn about timing. 4 hours later, Samuel Thomas Matthews and Elizabeth Hope Matthews entered the world screaming, perfect, and absolutely dismissive of their parents' carefully laid plans. Liam held his son Tom's middle name, a tribute that had made Veronica cry when he suggested it, while she cradled their daughter. "They're perfect," she whispered, exhausted but radiant. "Course they are, they're ours." He kissed her forehead. "Though we might need to discuss Elizabeth wanting to come out feet first, already causing trouble. Wonder where she gets that from." Veronica smiled at Isla and Jackson hovering in the doorway with Hope. "Come meet your siblings." The older kids approached carefully, Hope less so. She toddled straight to Liam, patted the baby's head with sticky hands. "Mine," she asked hopefully. "Ours," Isla corrected, lifting her sister for a better view. "That's Samuel and Elizabeth. Can you say hi?" "Hi, Sammy. Hi, Lizzie." Hope's volume made both babies scrunch their faces. "Mine. She's going to be a great big sister," Jackson said, gently touching Elizabeth's tiny fist. "Bossy, but great." "Best kind," Veronica agreed. "Right, Isla?" "Absolutely. Someone's got to keep these boys in line." Isla was already taking photos, documenting every moment. "Dad, you're crying." "Am not." He was absolutely crying. "Just allergies. To happiness?" Veronica teased. "Something like that." Over the next months, life became a beautiful blur. The ranch filled with noise, babies crying, Hope singing to them, badly, Jackson practicing saxophone, worse, Isla home from Rice organizing everyone with color-coded schedules. Their nonprofit, Second Chances Legal Aid, opened offices in Houston and Austin, helping domestic violence survivors navigate divorce and custody battles. "We need more lawyers," Veronica said one evening, twin babies sleeping in matching swings while she reviewed applications. "Sarah Chen just passed the bar. Think she's ready? The woman who helped take down Hunter? She was born ready." Liam looked up from building block towers with Hope. "Speaking of Hunter." Still no word. Veronica's expression darkened. "FBI says witness protection lost track of him 8 months ago. Could be dead, could be hiding, could be planning something. Let him plan. We've got bigger things to worry about." He gestured at the chaos toys everywhere. Jackson's homework spread across the coffee table, Isla's law school application stacked by the door, babies beginning to fuss for their next feeding. "LSAT scores came back," Isla announced, bouncing in. 179. "That's amazing, baby girl." Liam hugged her tight. "Stanford's gonna beg for you." "Actually," she bit her lip. "I was thinking UT, stay close to home, help with the firm, maybe specialize in family law, help kids like Hope who need advocates. You don't have to stay for us." "I'm staying for me. This family, this work, it's what I want." She grinned. "Plus, someone needs to teach the twins about their crazy origin story when they're older." "Edited version," Veronica said firmly. "They don't need to know about Grace until—" The doorbell interrupted, late for visitors, especially out at the ranch. Liam checked the security monitor, a delivery truck. "Expecting something?" he asked Veronica. "No, you?" He opened the door cautiously. The driver held a single envelope. "Liam Matthews? This needs your signature, from the Federal Bureau of Prisons." Grace. It always came back to Grace. Inside, they gathered in the kitchen, envelope unopened on the table like a live grenade. "Could be execution date," Veronica said quietly. "Appeals are exhausted." "Could be another threat," Isla countered. "More poison from behind bars." "Only one way to find out." Liam opened it, read quickly. "She's dead." Silence. Even the babies seemed to pause their fussing. "When?" Veronica asked. 3 days ago. Heart attack in her cell." He set the letter down. "Natural causes, they say. No execution needed." "Bullshit," Isla said flatly. "Grace doesn't get natural causes. Someone got to her." "Does it matter?" Jackson asked. "She's gone. Can't hurt anyone anymore." But Liam was reading the second page, face going pale. "There's more. She left something. A safety deposit box, contents to be delivered to Hope on her 18th birthday." "Absolutely not," Veronica said immediately. "We'll fight it." "And a letter? For me? Delivered separately." He pulled out another envelope, this one hand-addressed. Grace's perfect penmanship, even facing death. "Burn it," Isla said. Whatever she has to say. But Liam was already opening it. Had to know. Always had to know. My dear husband, he read aloud, by now you've won. Married your lawyer, raised my daughter, built your perfect life on my ashes. Congratulations. But every family has secrets, and yours is spectacular. Ask Veronica about October 15th, 2002. Ask her what really happened to Tom Bradley. Ask her who put the ricin in his tea. Some killers wear orange jumpsuits. Others wear white dresses. Enjoy your perfect family, built on lies just like ours was. Forever yours, Grace. P.S. Hunter sends his regards. He's closer than you think. The kitchen went silent, except for the baby's soft breathing. Veronica stood frozen, color draining from her face. It's lies, Isla said quickly. Mom's final manipulation. October 15th, Veronica whispered. She knows the exact date. Veronica? Liam's voice was careful. What happened October 15th? She sank into a chair, looking every one of her 43 years. Tom was getting worse. The poisoning, we knew someone was killing him slowly. He was paranoid, wouldn't eat anything I didn't prepare myself, so I made tea. Every day, I made his tea. Veronica. October 15th, I was making his tea when Grace called, said she was Tom's new assistant, had papers for him to sign. I left the tea on the counter, went to get Tom. When I came back, Grace was gone. Tom drank the tea and... Her voice broke. He died that night. I always wondered, did I leave the tea where she could reach it? Was it my fault? That's not Liam started, but what if she's right? What if subconsciously I wanted him to drink it? I was so tired, Liam. So tired of watching him die slowly. What if part of me... Stop. Liam knelt beside her chair. Grace is doing what she always did, taking truth and twisting it into weapons. You didn't kill Tom. She did. But I made the tea. That she poisoned. End of story. He took her hands. You think I haven't wondered? What if I'd come home earlier that night? What if I'd seen the signs? We all have what-ifs. That doesn't make us killers. Dad's right, Hila said firmly. Grace wants to poison us one last time. Don't let her. Jackson moved to his mother's other side. Mom, you saved us. All of us. That's what matters. Hope, sensing distress, toddled over and patted Veronica's knee. Mama, sad, no sad. Even the twins seemed to agree, both starting to cry as if in solidarity. The noise broke the spell, everyone moving, Liam getting bottles, Isla lifting Hope, Jackson hugging his mom. She's really gone, Veronica said wonderingly. No more letters, no more threats, just gone. Good riddance, Maria said from the doorway. She'd been silent through the drama, but now her voice was steel. That woman was poison. Now she's dead and you're alive, with beautiful babies and good work to do. Don't let her ghost win. That night, after kids were in bed and babies finally settled, Liam found Veronica on the porch swing, their spot, where big conversations happened under Texas stars. You okay? Getting there. She leaned into him. 20 years of looking over my shoulder waiting for the next attack. Hard to believe it's over. Unless Hunter really is out there. Let him come. I'm tired of being afraid. She looked at her wedding ring, the antique diamonds catching moonlight. We've built something beautiful here, worth fighting for. Worth dying for? Worth living for. Big difference. She smiled. Besides, we've got work to do. Isla's joining the firm. Sarah passed the bar. We've got 3 offices to run and 4 kids to raise. No time for ghost stories. 5 kids, Liam corrected. Dylan's wife let slip. Sarah's pregnant. She and Marcus Chen eloped last month. Another baby in our extended family? Veronica laughed. This ranch is going to need more bedrooms. Good thing I know construction. He pulled her closer. We'll build whatever we need. Bedrooms, offices, chicken coops. Whatever our family requires. Our family. She said it like a prayer. Still getting used to that. This morning I woke up to baby cries and saxophone practice and Hope singing the Barney song at full volume, and I thought, this is it. This is happiness. Loud happiness. Best kind. She kissed him softly. Thank you for seeing past Grace's poison. For choosing us despite the complications. Thank you for being worth choosing. They swung gently, listening to night sounds, crickets, distant cattle, the old house settling around their sleeping children. Somewhere in a federal morgue, Grace Matthews lay on a cold table. Her reign of terror finally ended. Somewhere in the shadows, Hunter might be plotting revenge. But here on their ranch, surrounded by love and laughter and the beautiful chaos of family, Liam and Veronica Matthews were untouchable. They'd survived the worst, built the best, and created something Grace never understood: a real family, bound by choice and strengthened by truth. "Think the twins will sleep through the night?" Veronica asked hopefully. "Not a chance. Matthews' babies don't believe in sleep schedules." "Our babies," she corrected and smiled. "I love the sound of that." "Me too. Love the sound of all of it." Tomorrow would bring new challenges: babies teething, teenagers arguing, law firm growing, maybe even Hunter emerging from whatever hole he'd crawled into. But tonight was perfect in its imperfection, complete in its chaos. They'd won. Not by becoming killers like Grace, but by choosing love over revenge, family over fear, truth over manipulation. The greatest revenge against evil wasn't meeting it with more evil, it was building something so good that evil became irrelevant. "Come on," Liam said, standing and pulling her up. "Let's go check on our babies, all 6 of them. 5. Isla's 21. Still my baby. Always will be." They walked inside hand in hand, ready for whatever came next. Grace was dead, but the Matthews family was very much alive, thriving, growing, proving every day that love wasn't just stronger than hate, it was infinitely more interesting. And in the nursery, 2 perfect babies slept peacefully, unaware they'd been born into a family forged by fire and made unbreakable by choice. Samuel and Elizabeth Matthews, newest members of an imperfect, beautiful, fiercely protective clan that had looked evil in the eye and chosen joy instead. Grace had lost more than her life. She'd lost the war she'd started 25 years ago with antifreeze in Betty Matthews' coffee. Because Betty's legacy lived on in Liam's strength, Isla's brilliance, Hope's innocence, and now in 2 tiny babies who would grow up knowing only love. The greatest revenge was a life well lived. And the Matthews family was living proof. The call came at 3 a.m. because bad news never had the decency to arrive during business hours. Liam fumbled for his phone, trying not to wake Veronica or the twins, who'd finally started sleeping through the night after 8 months of parental torture. "Mr. Matthews?" The voice was official, tired. "This is Warden Jackson from Huntsville. I need to inform you of an incident." Liam slipped out of bed, padding to the hallway. "What kind of incident?" "Your ex-wife, Grace Matthews. There was an altercation in her cell block. She's in critical condition." The world tilted. Grace had been dead for 2 years. They'd received the death certificate, attended the small burial Isla had insisted on closure, she'd called it. Liam had stood over that grave and felt nothing. Just empty space where rage used to live. That's impossible. Grace died 2 years ago. Heart attack. "Sir," the warden sighed, "I don't know what you were told, but Grace Matthews has been in our protective custody unit for the past 24 months. Until tonight." Liam's legs gave out. He sank onto the hallway bench, mind racing. "You're telling me my serial killer ex-wife has been alive this whole time?" "I'm telling you she's currently in surgery at Huntsville Medical, stabbed 17 times by another inmate. If you want to see her, if she has anything to say, you should come now. Who else knows about this?" "Just immediate family and law enforcement. Mr. Matthews, there's more. She's been asking for you. Says she has information about your brother." Hunter. Always Hunter. Even from beyond the grave. Except neither of them had been in graves, apparently. "I'll be there in 3 hours." He found Veronica in the kitchen, already making coffee. 18 years of marriage had taught them each other's rhythms. She knew from his footsteps that something was wrong. "What is it?" she asked, then saw his face. "Oh, God, the kids! The kids are fine. It's Grace." He accepted the coffee gratefully. "She's alive, Veronica." "Has been all along. Protected custody, they said." The mug slipped from her hand, shattering on the tile. Neither moved to clean it. "That's impossible. We saw the death certificate. The FBI confirmed." "The FBI lied. Or someone in the FBI lied." Liam ran his hands through his hair. "She's dying now, for real this time. Wants to see me." Says she has information about Hunter. You're not going. I have to. Like hell. Veronica's lawyer voice engaged. This is a trap. Classic Grace manipulation. She's been stabbed 17 times. Not even Grace can fake that. He pulled her close. I need answers. About why they faked her death, about Hunter, about what other lies we've been told. Then I'm coming with you. The twins. Maria can watch them. Isla's home from law school for the weekend. She was already planning, organizing. We do this together or not at all. 3 hours later, they walked into Huntsville Medical's prison ward. The smell hit first disinfectant fighting a losing battle against despair. Guards checked them thoroughly, more interested in weapons going out than in. She's conscious, the doctor informed them. Barely. Lost a lot of blood, organs failing. Maybe an hour, maybe less. Through reinforced glass, Grace Matthews lay dying for real this time. The years hadn't been kind gray streaked through once perfect hair, face gaunt, orange jumpsuit replaced by hospital gown. But her eyes were still calculating. Hello, darling, she whispered when they entered. Love the gray at your temples, distinguished. Grace. Liam kept his distance. Even dying, she was dangerous. They said you had information. All business, as always. She coughed, blood speckling her lips. Where's my daughter? Hope is none of your concern. Hope. Such an optimistic name for a killer's child. Grace's smile was ghastly. Does she know about Mommy yet? She knows her birth mother was sick. That's all she needs to know. Sick. Grace laughed, more blood. Is that what we're calling it? I prefer efficient. The information, Veronica cut in. About Hunter. Grace's eyes shifted to her. Counselor. Still playing house with my husband, I see. Tell me, did you ever tell him about Portland? Veronica went rigid. There's nothing to tell. No? December 2019? That conference you attended? Grace's voice was fading, but her malice remained strong. Interesting keynote speaker. Amazing how much he looked like Tom. Same smile, same laugh, same weakness for married women. You're lying. Am I? Check the hotel records. December 12th through 15th. Mr. and Mrs. Smith. How original. Grace turned back to Liam. She fucked him for 3 days straight. Came home to you and the babies like nothing happened. At least when I cheated, I had the decency to ask for divorce. Liam looked at Veronica, saw the truth in her stricken face. Portland. 3 years ago. When the twins were colicky, when they were barely surviving on 2 hours of sleep, when everything felt impossible. It wasn't, Veronica started. Save it for the drive home, Grace interrupted. I'm dying. Let me enjoy this. Another cough, weaker. Hunter's information. You want it or not? Talk, Liam said, voice rough. He's dead. Really dead this time. 3 months ago in Mexico. Tried to run a con on the wrong cartel wife. She smiled. Poetic, really. Killed by another Black Widow. How do you know this? Prison intelligence network. We hear things, see things. Her hand moved slightly, beckoning him closer. There's more. About Betty. My mother? Your sainted mother, the woman who took me in. Grace's voice dropped to barely a whisper. Liam leaned closer despite himself. She knew. Knew what? About my past. About the foster homes before hers. The fires. The accidents. Grace's eyes glittered. She knew I was dangerous. Still took me in. Said everyone deserved a second chance. You're lying. Check her journals. Hidden in the attic of the old house. She wrote about me. Her project, she called me. Trying to save a broken girl. Blood ran from the corner of her mouth. She died thinking she'd failed. But really, she created me. Taught me about insurance, about wills, about how easy it was to take everything with the right paperwork. You murdered her. I graduated. From her school of second chances. Grace's breath rattled. Tell Hope. Tell her Mommy loved her. In my way. Your way was poison. Everyone's way is poison. Some of us are just honest about it. Her eyes found Veronica again. Right, counselor? We all have our secrets. Our little murders. The monitors began alarming. Doctors rushed in, pushed them back. But Grace was already gone. That calculating light finally extinguished. She died as she'd lived, spreading poison until the very end. The drive home was silent for the first hour. Then, on an empty stretch of Highway 45, Liam pulled over. "Portland," he said simply. Veronica stared straight ahead. "It wasn't an affair. It was. I don't know what it was. The conference. This man who looked so much like Tom. We talked at the bar, and for a moment I forgot he was gone. Forgot I was married. Forgot everything except how much I missed him." "For 3 days?" "No. For one night. I woke up the next morning sick with myself, stayed in my room the rest of the conference, came home and threw myself into our life, our family." She finally looked at him, tears streaming. "I wanted to tell you. 1,000 times I almost did. But I was terrified of losing you, losing everything we'd built. So Grace knew before I did. Grace knew because she had someone watching me, probably watching all of us. Even from prison, she was gathering ammunition." Veronica's voice broke. "I'm so sorry, Liam. It meant nothing. Less than nothing. Just grief and exhaustion and a moment of weakness that I've regretted every day since." Liam gripped the steering wheel, knuckles white. 20 years of marriage, 18 to Grace, 5 to Veronica. Both had betrayed him. Both had kept secrets. The difference was everything else. Did you love him? This man? No. God, no. I didn't even get his real name. He was just a ghost, a reminder of what I'd lost. She touched his arm tentatively. "You're what I chose. Every day since I've chosen you. Our family, our life. I need time to process this. I know. I'm not leaving, not taking the kids, not destroying what we've built." He started the engine. "But I need time." "Okay." They drove home in renewed silence, but it was different now. Not the sharp edge of fresh betrayal, but the ache of old wounds reopened. Grace's final poison, delivered with her last breath. At home, they found chaos. Hope had decided to give the twins a makeover with Veronica's lipstick. Samuel looked like a tiny clown, Elizabeth like a miniature punk rocker. Maria was trying to clean them while Isla documented everything on her phone. "For their wedding slideshow," she explained, then saw their faces. "What happened?" "Grace is dead," Liam said simply. "Really dead this time." "Good." Isla's response was immediate. "Hope, come here. Let's clean your face before Hope." The 3-year-old had found the syrup. In the chaos of cleanup, baths, and lunch, the Portland revelation faded to background noise. This was real-life sticky children, law firm calls, Jackson's science project due Monday. Grace was gone, taking her poison with her. What remained was what they'd built despite her. That night, after the kids were asleep, Liam found Veronica on the porch swing, their place for hard conversations under Texas stars. "I'm not Tom," he said without preamble. "I'm not going to die on you. You don't need to look for his ghost in strangers." "I know. And I'm not blameless. The months after the twins were born, when you were drowning and I buried myself in work because I didn't know how to help." He sat beside her, not touching. Not yet. "We both failed each other. The difference is what we do next." "What do we do next?" "We get help. Counseling. We talk about the hard stuff." He finally took her hand. "We don't let Grace's poison define us. She spent 25 years destroying lives. She doesn't get to destroy ours with her dying breath." "You can forgive me?" "I forgave Grace for trying to kill me. I can forgive you for a moment of grief-stricken stupidity." He pulled her close. "But no more secrets, ever. We face things together or not at all." "No more secrets," she agreed, then paused. "Actually, one more. I'm pregnant." Liam pulled back, stared at her. "What?" "Found out this morning. Was waiting for the right time to tell you." She laughed shakily. Grace kind of killed the moment. "Pregnant. We're 48 years old with 4 kids and a law firm, and you're pregnant. Apparently, the universe thinks we need more chaos." He kissed her then, deep and desperate and full of promise. "The universe might be right." "Yeah?" "Yeah. Though we're definitely getting a bigger car, and possibly a nanny, and Jackson needs to stop playing saxophone at dawn. Deal." They swung gently, planning for a future Grace had tried to poison but failed to destroy. In the distance, thunder rumbled another storm coming, but the Matthews family had weathered worse. They'd weather this too. "Hunter's really dead," Veronica said quietly. Both of them gone. It's really over. It's really over. But even as he said it, Liam wondered. Grace had lied about being dead. Hunter had faked his death once. In their world of serial killers and second chances, was anything ever really over? Time would tell. For now, they had a porch swing, a sky full of stars, and a family strong enough to survive whatever came next. Even the ghost of Grace Matthews. The Matthews Foundation for Second Chances opened its doors on a crisp October morning, 5 years after Grace's death. The Austin headquarters occupied a renovated mansion, its walls lined with photos of survivors who'd rebuilt their lives with the foundation's help. Liam stood in the main conference room, watching his family prepare for the ribbon cutting. Isla, now a full partner at their law firm, adjusted the microphone while fielding calls. At 28, she commanded courtrooms with the same fierce protectiveness she'd shown defending her father all those years ago. Her husband, Alex Chen Marcus's son, because life had a sense of humor, corralled their twin boys, who'd inherited the Matthews gift for chaos. "Grandpa, look!" 4-year-old Marcus Jr. held up a frog he'd found in the garden. "Can we keep him?" "Ask your grandmother," Liam said, passing the buck with practiced ease. Veronica appeared, carrying their youngest Emma, their surprise blessing, now 5 and ruling the family with an iron fist wrapped in blonde curls. The pregnancy announcement on the day of Grace's actual death had shocked everyone, but Emma had arrived like sunshine after a storm. 10 minutes until the ceremony," Veronica announced. "Where's Hope?" "Here." Hope bounded in, 8 years old and radiant. She knew her origin story, now age-appropriate version, and had processed it with remarkable resilience. "Sorry, I was helping Jackson with the documentary setup." Jackson, 22 and fresh from USC Film School, had insisted on recording everything. His documentary about the foundation, about their whole twisted family history, was already generating Oscar buzz. "Everyone ready?" Sarah Chen asked, clipboard in hand. Still their most trusted employee, now managing director of the foundation. Her own twins with Marcus were terrorizing the catering staff, adding to the cheerful chaos. "Almost," Liam said. "Just waiting for—" "We're here!" The doors burst open. Samuel and Elizabeth, now 13, rushed in with their usual hurricane energy. Behind them, Maria moved slower these days, but still insisted on helping with every family event. "Traffic was horrible," Samuel explained, straightening his tie with 13-year-old dignity. "Someone," Elizabeth glared at her twin, "forgot his speech notes." "Did not. They're right," Samuel patted his pockets frantically. "Oh, I have copies," Isla said, producing papers like magic. "I know my siblings." The ceremony itself was perfect. Local dignitaries, survivors they'd helped, law enforcement who'd become allies. Liam gave a speech about second chances, about building beauty from ashes. Veronica talked about justice and healing. The twins, despite Elizabeth's eye-rolling at Samuel's dramatic delivery, presented a check to the local women's shelter. But it was Hope who stole the show. "My birth mother was sick," she said simply, young voice carrying clearly. "She hurt people, but my real family, the one that chose me, they show me every day that love is stronger than sickness. This foundation helps other kids like me, kids who need someone to choose them." There wasn't a dry eye in the room. Afterward, at the reception, Detective Rodriguez, now Chief Rodriguez, pulled Liam aside. "Hell of a thing you've built here." "We had help." Liam watched his family mingle with guests. "You included. Never thanked you properly for believing us about Grace." "Just doing my job." Rodriguez paused. "Speaking of which, thought you should know. Got a report from Mexico last week. They found another body matching Hunter's description." "Another?" "Third one in 5 years. Either your brother's got clones or someone's still playing games." "Grace is dead. We watched her die." "Did we? Or did we watch someone die?" Rodriguez shrugged. "Probably nothing. But in this family's history, I figure paranoia's healthy." Before Liam could respond, a commotion erupted. The twins were attempting to demonstrate a cool science experiment that looked suspiciously like it might explode. "Samuel! Elizabeth!" Veronica's voice cut through the chaos. "What did we say about pyrotechnics at public events?" "Technically, it's just a chemical reaction," Samuel started. "No explosions." Veronica and Liam said in unison. Crisis averted, the reception continued. Liam found himself on the garden terrace, watching the sun set over Austin. 20 years since that night, Grace demanded divorce. Look where they'd ended up. Proud of us? Veronica appeared beside him, Emma on her hip. Every day. Even when the twins try to blow up the foundation? Especially then. Shows initiative. Emma squirmed down, running to join her siblings. At 5, she was fearless, convinced the world existed for her entertainment. The baby who'd arrived as Grace truly died, bringing light with her. Rodriguez thinks Hunter might still be alive, Liam said quietly. Rodriguez thinks everyone's suspicious. Occupational hazard. Veronica took his hand. Hunter's gone, Liam. Whether he died in Mexico or Mongolia or Mars, he's gone from our lives. That's what matters. You're right. Usually am. She leaned into him. Come on. Jackson wants family photos while the light's good. They gathered on the foundation's front steps, all of them, the whole beautiful mess. Isla and Alex with their boys, Jackson directing everyone with artistic precision, the twins making bunny ears behind Hope's head, Emma demanding to be in front, Maria sitting in the place of honor, Sarah and Marcus's family joining because they were family too, Dylan and his wife because some friendships survived everything. Everyone say Matthews, Jackson called, camera on timer as he ran to squeeze in. Matthews, they chorused, and the camera captured it, this family built from fragments, held together by choice and strengthened by survival. Later, as guests departed and staff cleaned up, Liam found himself in his office with Isla. She was reviewing cases for the Foundation's legal aid program, glasses perched on her nose in a way that reminded him of Veronica. Good day, she said, not looking up. The best. You know what Mom would have thought? She rarely mentioned Grace anymore. Birth Mom, I mean. What? She'd have hated it, all of it. The happiness, the success, the way we turned her poison into purpose. Isla smiled. That makes it even better. Still angry? Sometimes. When I think about Grandma Betty, about all those men she killed. But mostly. She gestured at the photos covering the walls, families reunited, survivors thriving. Mostly I'm grateful. Without her evil, we wouldn't have this good. Silver lining to serial killer mothers? Something like that. She stood, stretched. I should get home. The boys turn into gremlins after 8 p.m. Alex claims it's my genetics. He's not wrong. You were a terror at bedtime. Was? She hugged him. Love you, Dad. Thanks for not giving up on us. Never crossed my mind. As the building emptied, Liam did a final walkthrough. The conference rooms where strategy meetings happened, the playroom for clients' children, the legal library Veronica had insisted on. But he stopped longest at the memorial wall photos of Grace's victims, the men whose deaths had funded their killer's lifestyle. Richard Holbrook, Martin Chen, William Morrison, Tom Bradley, 14 faces, 14 stories cut short. And at the bottom, Betty Matthews, the woman who'd tried to save a broken girl and paid with her life. We remember, Liam said quietly, and we do better. A sound made him turn. Hope stood in the doorway, small face serious. You okay, sweetheart? I was looking for you. She came closer, studied the photos. That's her, isn't it? My birth mom? There was a single photo of Grace taken at her trial. Not prominent, but present. Because erasing her completely felt like another kind of lie. Yes. She was pretty. Yes. Did she love me, even a little? The question he'd dreaded for 8 years. Liam knelt, taking Hope's hands. I think she loved you as much as she could love anyone, but she was sick in a way that made real love impossible. He chose his words carefully. What matters is how much you're loved now. By all of us. I know. Hope surprised him with a hug. I just wondered sometimes, if maybe I got some of her sickness, if that's why I get so angry sometimes. Everyone gets angry, sweetheart. What matters is what you do with it. He pulled back, met her eyes. You use your anger to protect people. Like when you stood up to those bullies picking on Jackson's friend. That's not sickness, that's strength. Mom, real mom, says I have a strong sense of justice. Strongest I've ever seen, besides your sister. And you? I'm just a guy who builds things and loves his family. And survived a serial killer wife, Hope added matter-of-factly. That's pretty badass. Language. Jackson says it in the documentary. I'm censoring that documentary. They walked out together, Hope chattering about school, friends, her upcoming birthday plans. Normal kid stuff from a kid whose beginning was anything but normal. The parking lot was empty except for their vehicles, the massive SUV that hauled their Brady Bunch-sized family, Veronica's practical sedan, Jackson's film equipment van. Dad? Hope asked as they reached the car. Do you think she's really dead? Birth mom? Yes, we saw her die. But she faked it before. That's true. Liam considered his words. But this time was different. No more games, no more tricks. Just an end. Good. Hope climbed into the car. I don't want her hurting our family anymore. She can't. We're too strong now. The drive home was peaceful, Hope singing along to pop songs while Liam navigated hill country roads. The ranch sprawled before them in the setting sun. Main house expanded twice. Maria's cottage, the barn Jackson had converted to a studio, the chicken coop that actually housed chickens now. Home, real home, built on truth instead of lies. Inside, controlled chaos reigned. The twins were doing homework, arguing about it. Emma was painting, the table more than the paper. Jackson editing footage while Veronica made dinner. Maria dozed in her chair, keeping one eye on the mayhem. Finally, Elizabeth called. Samuel says the Battle of Hastings was in 1067. 1066, Samuel protested. Dad, tell her. Both of you, Google it, Liam said, hanging up his keys. But quietly, Maria's resting. I'm not sleeping, Maria said without opening her eyes. Just watching you all with my ears. How was the drive? Veronica asked, accepting his kiss while stirring pasta. Good. Hope asked about Grace. And I told her the truth. Age-appropriate version. Good man. She handed him plates to set. Oh, I forgot. Package came for you. On your desk. Liam's study was his sanctuary walls of books, photos from their travels, kids' artwork framed with the same care as diplomas. The package sat on his desk, no return address, postmarked from Mexico. Inside, a single item, Hunter's law school ring, and a note, some ghosts never die. Enjoy your perfect family while it lasts. A friend. Liam stared at the ring, mind racing. Hunter's ring, which should be on a corpse in Mexico, or 3 corpses according to Rodriguez. The note's handwriting was unfamiliar, but the tone. Dad, dinner. Samuel's voice broke through. Liam pocketed the ring and note. Tomorrow he'd call Rodriguez, start another investigation, deal with whatever ghost was rattling chains. But tonight was family dinner, homework help, bedtime stories, the life they'd built brick by brick from the rubble of Grace's destruction. At dinner, the conversation flowed, the twins debating history, Hope describing her art project, Emma demanding everyone admire her paintings, Jackson pitching documentary ideas. Veronica caught his eye, smiled that private smile that still made his heart skip after all these years. This was his legacy. Not the money from the oil fields, not the success of the law firm, not even the foundation helping hundreds of families. These people, this love, this choice to build rather than destroy. Earth to Dad, Isla said, apparently arrived while he was lost in thought. Emma's asking you something. Sorry, baby girl. What is it? Emma fixed him with imperious 5-year-old severity. Can we get a puppy? The table erupted in opinions. The twins said yes. Hope worried about the chickens. Jackson suggested filming the puppy's training. Veronica looked skeptical. Maria muttered about more mouths to feed. We'll discuss it, Liam said diplomatically. That means no, Emma pouted. That means we'll discuss it. Family meeting, Hope suggested. With votes. I like votes, Samuel said. You would, Elizabeth countered. You always lose them. Do not. Do too. And as his family debated democracy and puppies, Liam felt the weight of Hunter's ring in his pocket and made a decision. Whatever ghost was trying to haunt them could wait. This moment, this beautiful, chaotic, perfect moment was what mattered. Grace had tried to steal their life. Hunter had helped her. But in the end, Love had won. It always did, if you gave it enough chances. "Okay," he said suddenly. "Let's vote on the puppy." The cheer that went up could probably be heard in Austin. And somewhere in the shadows, whatever ghost thought it could destroy their happiness would learn what Grace never understood. The Matthews family wasn't perfect because they had no problems. They were perfect because they faced them together, and no ghost living or dead could haunt that kind of love. The woman in the hospice bed looked nothing like the Grace Matthews who'd terrorized their lives. 25 years of prison, even in protective custody, had carved away the beauty that had been her weapon. Now at 61, she was skeletal, her once lustrous hair gone gray and thin. Pancreatic cancer, the doctors said. Weeks left, maybe days. But her eyes, those calculating green eyes, remained sharp as broken glass. "You came," she whispered, voice barely audible. "I wasn't sure you would." Liam stood at the foot of her bed, Veronica beside him. They'd debated for hours after the call came. Grace Matthews, dying for real this time. No tricks, no games. Asking to see them, asking to apologize. "We're here," Liam said simply. "Say what you need to say." Grace's laugh turned into a cough. A nurse appeared, adjusted something on the IV, disappeared again. The hospice was nice, private, expensive. Even dying, Grace had managed to arrange comfort. 25 years, she said when she could speak again. 25 years to think about every life I took, every family I destroyed. Do you know what that does to a person? No, Veronica said coldly. Most people don't kill 14 men. 18. Grace's correction was matter-of-fact. The FBI missed 4, early ones before I got sophisticated. She studied their faces. You're not surprised. You always knew there were more. We suspected. Liam pulled up a chair. Not from compassion, but because this might take time. Is that what you wanted to tell us? More victims to add to your tally? No. I wanted to tell you I'm sorry. The words hung in the antiseptic air. Outside, Houston traffic hummed. Inside, Liam tried to process what he'd heard. You're sorry? He said it flat, disbelieving. I know how it sounds. Deathbed conversion. How cliché. Grace's hand plucked at the blanket. But I've had time to think. About Betty especially. The woman who tried to save me. The woman you murdered. Yes, she knew, you know, about what I was. Found my journals, the ones where I wrote about the foster fathers. The ones who... She trailed off. Doesn't matter now, but Betty knew I was damaged, dangerous, still took me in. And you killed her for it. I killed her because I was 17 and stupid and thought $50,000 was all the money in the world. Tears leaked from her eyes. I killed the only person who ever loved me. Real love, not the transaction I turned everything else into. Grace, Veronica started. Michelle, my name is Michelle. Grace was just another character I played. She looked at Liam. For what it's worth, you were the closest I ever came to feeling real. Those early years, before I remembered what I was. I almost believed I could be a wife, a mother, normal. But you couldn't. No, the sickness always won. When things got hard, when you worked long hours, when I felt trapped in suburbia, the old patterns kicked in. Find a mark, run the game, take everything. She closed her eyes. Hunter was just another mark at first. Then he became something else, someone as broken as me. Where is he? Liam asked directly. Is he really dead? Grace's eyes opened, met his. Yes, died in Mexico 5 years ago. I know because I'm the one who told the cartel wife what he was. My final gift to you, removing the last threat. You had Hunter killed? I gave him what he gave others. Justice, of a sort. She turned to Veronica. I'm sorry about Tom. He was. Collateral damage. Wrong place, wrong time. If I could undo any death, it would be his. But you can't, Veronica said steadily. Sorry doesn't bring him back. Doesn't give Jackson his father. No, but maybe it gives you permission to stop looking over your shoulder, to believe it's really over. Grace's breathing grew labored. Hope. Tell me about Hope. No, Liam said immediately. Please, just... Is she happy? Liam thought of Hope that morning, 15 now, arguing with the twins about breakfast while helping Emma with homework. Smart, fierce, protective of her siblings. Everything Grace never was. "She's perfect," he said finally. "Kind, brilliant, loves her family. Nothing like you." "Good." Grace smiled, ghastly on her wasted face. "That's good. The cycle breaks with her." A machine beeped. The nurse returned, checked readings, gave them a meaningful look. Time was short. "I have something for you," Grace said. "My lawyer has documents, everything, every victim, every penny stolen, every identity used, all of it." "Why?" "Because some families deserve closure, and because," she struggled for breath, "because I want one thing I did to be clean. No games, no manipulation, just truth. After 30 years of lies. After 30 years of lies." She reached out suddenly, grabbed Liam's hand with surprising strength. "I know you can't forgive me. I'm not asking for that. But thank you. For raising Hope. For giving her what I couldn't. For being the family I destroyed trying to create." Liam didn't pull away, didn't squeeze back either, just let her hold on while machines tracked her dying. "The ring," Grace said suddenly. "Hunter's ring. You got it? That was you? My last game. Sorry. Old habits?" She managed a smile. "I wanted to see if you'd come running, thinking he was alive. You didn't. You stayed with your family. Chose love over fear. Betty would be proud." "Don't." Liam's voice was sharp. "You don't get to invoke her. Not after what you did." "No, I don't." Grace's hand fell away. "But she won in the end. Her values, her love, they live in you. In Isla, in the family you built. I killed her, but I couldn't kill what she taught you." The beeping increased. Grace's breathing grew shallow, erratic. "Wait," she gasped. "One more thing. Veronica." "What?" Veronica leaned closer despite herself. "Portland. I know about Portland." Grace's voice was fading. "So does Liam. Told him the day I died the first time. But he stayed, forgave. That's real love. What I never understood." She looked between them, something almost peaceful in her expression. "Take care of each other, of the children, of the life you built on my ashes." Her eyes fluttered closed. "Tell Hope. Tell her Michelle Fontaine is sorry. For everything." The machines sang their electronic dirge. Nurses rushed in, but it was over. Michelle Fontaine, Grace Matthews, Jennifer Walsh, and a dozen other names was finally, truly dead. Liam and Veronica stood in the parking lot afterward, Houston humidity wrapping around them like a blanket. Neither spoke for long minutes. "Do you think she meant it?" Veronica asked finally. "The apology? Does it matter?" Liam unlocked the car. "She's gone. The victims are still dead. Hope still has to live with her legacy." "But she gave us the list. Every victim," she said. "That's something. That's everything." Liam thought of the families who'd never known what happened to their loved ones. Closure, finally. They drove home in contemplative silence. The ranch was in full evening chaos when they arrived. Jackson filming Emma's interpretive dance, the twins building something that definitely wasn't homework, Hope on the phone with friends, Maria pretending to scold while hiding smiles. "How was it?" Isla asked quietly, appearing at their side. She'd driven down from Austin when she heard about the hospice call. "Strange," Liam admitted. She apologized, seemed to mean it. "Good for her." Isla's voice was flat. "Still killed Grandma Betty, still tried to kill you. Apologies don't erase that." "No, but they might help other families." She documented everything. Real names, dates, locations. The FBI will be able to close every case. Silver lining to serial killers. Isla hugged them both. "I'm glad you went. Glad you got closure. Now can we please never talk about her again?" "Deal." But later that night, after kids were in bed and the house had settled, Liam found himself on the porch swing with Hope. She'd sought him out, somehow knowing despite their attempts at discretion. "She's dead, isn't she? My birth mom?" "Yes, this afternoon." "Did she say anything? About me?" Liam considered his words carefully. "She said to tell you she was sorry, and that she was glad you're nothing like her." "Michelle Fontaine." Hope said the name carefully. "That's who she really was. That's the name she was born with. Who she really was." I don't think even she knew. They swung gently, listening to night sounds, crickets, distant cattle, the old house breathing around its sleeping occupants. I'm glad she apologized, Hope said finally. Not for her, for you. So you can stop wondering if there was something more you could have done. When did you get so wise? Learned from the best. She leaned against his shoulder. Dad? I don't want to be a lawyer anymore. No? I want to be a therapist, work with kids from broken homes, like what Grandma Betty tried to do. She paused. Maybe if someone had helped Michelle early enough. Maybe. I know I can't save everyone, but maybe some. Turn the poison into medicine, you know? I know. Liam kissed the top of her head. Betty would love that. Full circle. Yeah. Hope stood, heading inside. Love you, Dad. Thanks for choosing me. Always, baby girl. Always. Alone on the swing, Liam thought about circles. About Betty taking in a broken girl, trying to heal her with love. About that girl growing up to spread death across decades. About a baby born from betrayal becoming a young woman determined to heal others. Grace Michelle, whoever she'd been, was gone. Her final apology couldn't undo the damage, but maybe it could close the circle. Give peace to the families who'd wondered. Let the Matthews family finally, truly, move forward without looking back. His phone buzzed. Rodriguez texting. Heard the news, you okay? Yeah, he typed back. It's over, really over this time. Good. Buy you a beer sometime. Celebrate the end of the longest case of my career. Deal. Inside, Veronica was reading in bed, glasses perched on her nose in that way that still charmed him after all these years. She looked up as he entered. Hope okay? Better than okay? She wants to be a therapist. Help kids like Michelle before they become like Grace. Our idealistic girl. Veronica set aside her book. The lawyer said Grace's documents are comprehensive. Every crime, every detail, it'll help a lot of families. Her last con? Trying to buy redemption? Or her first truth? Guess we'll never know. She patted the bed beside her. Come here. Long day. He settled beside her, pulling her close. Tomorrow would bring the documents, the FBI, the media storm when Grace's full victim list went public. But tonight was theirs, quiet and safe and free from the shadow that had haunted them for so long. I love you, he said quietly. Thank you for standing by me, through all of it. Thank you for forgiving Portland, for choosing us despite my mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. The difference is what we do after. He thought of Grace's apology, the tears that had seemed genuine. Even serial killers, apparently. Think she's in hell? I think she's been in hell for 40 years, since whatever broke her in those foster homes. He kissed Veronica's temple. I hope she finds peace, away from here, away from the damage she caused, but peace. Generous of you. Tired of anger. It's exhausting. He yawned. Rather focus on what we've built, what we're still building. The Foundation's youth program starts next month. Hope wants to volunteer. Of course she does. Liam smiled. Our kids are going to change the world. They already have, just by being who they are instead of what they could have been. They lay quietly, listening to the house settle. Somewhere, families were getting calls about long-dead relatives, finally understanding what had happened. Somewhere, Grace's victims were being mourned properly at last. And here, in this ranch house full of love and chaos, the Matthews family was free. Really, truly, finally free. The last ghost had been laid to rest with an apology and a list of names. It wasn't enough, could never be enough. But it was an ending. And sometimes, endings were their own kind of beginning. 10 years. That's how long Liam Matthews stood at this spot every anniversary, looking out over their ranch as the sun painted the hill country in shades of gold. 10 years since Grace's final death, since the last ghost had been laid to rest, since their family had truly begun to heal. You're going to be late for your own party, Veronica said, appearing beside him with 2 cups of coffee. Still beautiful at 58, silver threading through dark hair, laugh lines mapping years of joy. Just thinking. Dangerous habit. She handed him a mug. What's the verdict? We did it. He gestured at the scene below, tents being erected, caterers arriving, family members already gathering. We actually did it. Their 10th wedding anniversary party had somehow become a Matthews family reunion. Isla coordinating with military precision, the twins arguing about playlist choices, Hope directing flower arrangements with artistic flair. Even Emma, now 15 and too cool for family events, was helping Jackson set up his documentary equipment. Having second thoughts about the party? Veronica asked. Never, just grateful. A car pulled up the drive Sarah and Marcus Chen with their teenagers, Dylan and Maria, married 5 years now to everyone's surprise, various cousins and chosen family who'd become part of their ever-expanding circle. "Grandpa!" a small voice shrieked. Isla's youngest, 3-year-old Betty, named for her great-grandmother, came barreling across the lawn, arms outstretched. Liam scooped her up, spinning her around. "There's my girl, ready to party? Ready! Mama says I get to throw flowers. Very important job." He set her down, watched her race toward her brothers. 4 kids in 6 years, Isla had embraced motherhood with the same intensity she brought to law. "The documentary crew's here," Jackson announced, approaching with professional camera operator in tow. Now 32, he'd become an acclaimed filmmaker. His documentary about their family had won 3 Emmys and launched a career exploring how people survived trauma. "Ready for your interview, Dad? Do I have to?" "You promised. One last segment for the anniversary special." Jackson grinned. "I'll go easy on you." They set up in Liam's study, the walls now covered with 20 years of family photos. Jackson had interviewed them all over the years, creating a living record of their journey. This would be the final piece. "Rolling," the camera operator said. "So, Dad," Jackson began, 20 years ago your life exploded. Wife revealed as a serial killer, brother her accomplice. Everything you thought you knew turned out to be a lie. How did you go from that to this?" Liam considered. "One day at a time, one choice at a time. When everything falls apart, you can either stay in the rubble or start building something new." "Was there ever a moment you wanted to give up?" "Hundreds. When Grace first asked for divorce. When I learned about Betty. When Hunter's ring showed up and I thought the nightmare was starting again." He paused. "But then I'd look at Isla, or hold hope, or see your mom fighting in court, and I'd remember giving up meant letting Grace win. And now, when you look at this family, this life you've built, I see redemption. Not mine, everyone else's. Isla choosing law to help others. Hope becoming a therapist to heal broken kids. You telling stories that help people process pain. The twins using their chaos for good, running youth programs. Emma reminding us all not to take ourselves too seriously." Liam smiled. Even Grace in the end, trying to make one thing right with that victim list. "Do you forgive her?" The question hung heavy. Jackson had never asked it before, not in 10 years of filming. "I forgive the broken child who never got help. I grieve for what Michelle Fontaine could have been if someone had intervened early enough." Liam met the camera's eye. "But Grace Matthews, the woman who chose to kill again and again? No. Some things are unforgivable, and that's okay. Forgiveness isn't required for moving forward." "What would you tell someone going through their worst moment right now?" "Hold on. Find one person who believes in you and hold on tight. Don't let the poison define you. Choose love, even when it's harder than hate. Build something better from the ashes." He thought of Betty Matthews, the woman who'd tried to save a broken girl. And remember, sometimes the best revenge is a life well lived. "Cut," Jackson said softly. "Thanks, Dad. Thank you for telling our story, for making sure the good outweighs the bad in how we're remembered." Outside, the party was in full swing. A mariachi band the twins' idea played while guests mingled. Liam found Veronica holding court with other lawyers, discussing their latest case. 20 years of Second Chances legal aid had helped thousands of families escape abuse, find safety, rebuild. "There's the man of the hour," Dylan boomed, pulling Liam into a bear hug. Grayer, rounder, but still the same loyal friend who'd stood by him through everything. "How's retired life?" Liam asked. "Boring as hell. Maria's got me building raised garden beds," Dylan grinned. "But I get to spoil all your grandkids, so it evens out." The party flowed around them, Isla's boys playing with Hope's therapy dog, Emma and her cousins plotting something that probably involved water balloons, Sarah and Marcus slow dancing despite the fast music. 3 generations bound by choice rather than just blood. "Speech!" someone called out. "Anniversary speech!" Liam found himself pushed to the makeshift stage, Veronica beside him. The crowd quieted family, friends, colleagues, survivors they'd helped over the years. 10 years ago, Liam began, Veronica and I stood in front of a judge and promised to love each other through whatever came next. We'd already survived serial killers, custody battles, and the twins' terrible twos. How hard could marriage be? Laughter rippled through the crowd. Turns out, building a life is harder than surviving disaster. It's daily choices, small kindnesses, forgiveness for human mistakes. It's choosing each other even when it's difficult, especially when it's difficult. He took Veronica's hand, felt her squeeze back. People ask how we moved past what Grace did. The truth is, we didn't move past it. We moved through it, together. We took the broken pieces and built something new. Not perfect, Lord knows this family's never been perfect, but real, honest, ours. To second chances, someone called out. To third chances, Liam corrected. Fourth chances, as many chances as it takes to get it right. To family, Hope added, raising her glass of lemonade. To family, the crowd echoed. As the sun set over their ranch, painting the sky in impossible colors, Liam Matthews looked out at the life they'd built. His wife beside him, still choosing him after all these years. His daughter's birth and bonus changing the world in their own ways. His sons teaching him daily about resilience and hope. Grandchildren carrying forward Betty's legacy of love, triumphing over darkness. Grace had tried to destroy them. She'd killed Betty, traumatized Isla, nearly succeeded in murdering Liam and his father. She'd left a trail of bodies across 3 decades, destroyed dozens of families, spread poison wherever she went. But in the end, love had won. Not through some dramatic confrontation or clever revenge, but through daily choices to be better, through Isla defending abuse survivors, through Hope counseling traumatized children, through Jackson's films helping people process pain, through the twins' youth programs, Emma's irrepressible joy, the grandchildren's innocent laughter, through Veronica's hand in his, steady and sure after all these years. "Happy anniversary, Mr. Matthews," she said softly. "Happy anniversary, Mrs. Matthews. Think we'll make another 10? I think we'll make forever. Forever's a long time. Good thing I love you. Good thing I love you back." They kissed as fireworks, definitely the twins doing, lit up the Texas sky. Around them, their family celebrated not just an anniversary, but survival itself. The triumph of choosing love over fear, forgiveness over bitterness, hope over despair. Somewhere in the ground, Grace Matthews lay buried and mostly forgotten. Her victims had been mourned, their families given closure. Her daughter had grown into everything she'd never been. Her legacy of death had been transformed into one of life. And on a ranch outside Austin, surrounded by the family they'd chosen and the love they'd fought for, Liam and Veronica Matthews proved the greatest truth of all. Happily ever after isn't a fairy tale ending. It's a daily choice to keep building, keep loving, keep believing that tomorrow can be better than yesterday. Even if yesterday tried to kill you. Especially then. The Matthews family had looked evil in the eye and chosen joy. They'd faced serial killers and chosen compassion. They'd survived the worst and built the best, and their story, messy, complicated, impossibly beautiful, would continue for generations, each child carrying forward the lesson Grace never learned. Love always wins. It just sometimes takes a while to prove it.